Hi guys, I'm Tynan, and today I'm going to give you a tour of my updated RV to show you what's new since the last one. I think I threw away my tripod, so it's going to be an awkward handheld video, but we'll do the best we can. Alright, so over here, big change, Brazilian granite countertops. I chose Brazilian granite because the nice lady at the Ethiopian restaurant knew a lot about granite. She told me that's what to get. This color was chosen by a friend of mine named Lara. I think it looks pretty good. It looks kind of like cheetahs or tigers or something like that. It's over there, and it's also here in the kitchen, most importantly. And that's why I replaced it. Right around here, the old one was made out of wood, and it was separating and looked really crappy. It was kind of falling apart. And then also there were some vent holes, like over here, for the old fridge that kind of took up some usable space. So decided to redo it, get granite. It is a little bit heavier, but I weigh my thing all the time. If you want to weigh your RV, just go to any truck stop. You can go to a weigh station, and it's like $10 or $7 or something. While I was at it, since granite is pretty permanent, I definitely don't plan on upgrading this again. I got a new sink, stainless steel. It's bigger than the old one, and man, I would not recommend getting a big one like this. It was such a pain to put in. We had to raise up the countertop, we had to replumb it. Luckily I have a dad who knows all this sort of stuff. He helped me a lot, otherwise I probably wouldn't have running water. Anyway, I'm psyched to have this. It's like a built-in drying rack. Right now I'm drying a spoon, which I used for breakfast. Got a better faucet. Comes out now, a little pull-out thing. That's pretty useful. It also does spray. And then over here, this is really cool. I have a new stove. It's made by Ramblewood Green. If you have an RV and you're getting a new stove, this is one I'd recommend. I did a lot of research into these things. It's stainless steel. It has a front burner that's like a really high-end home burner, so it can boil water really fast, which is pretty cool. And then the back one over here is much smaller, so it can do a really good simmer, if you're making my one-pot meal that I talk about sometimes. So anyway, the kitchen looks pretty cool. All new granite and all that kind of stuff. You can see the work my dad and I did before up here, and then also new lights everywhere. These things are super cheap. You can get them on eBay, a company called ITC, I think. And so I've got them all the way throughout. All of the bulbs are now LED, which I think you can probably see up here. There it is. So those don't use much power at all. I think each one uses 1 watt or so, depending on which bulb it is. There's a couple different types of bulbs. This over here isn't new. I've had this for a while, but I probably haven't shown it to you before. It's the Olympian Wave 6 heater. Now this thing is amazing. It's pretty much impossible to keep an RV cool, but keeping it warm is really easy with this thing. It uses no batteries whatsoever. I've got a tiny little propane tank, and it has enough propane to last me a full week of heating every single night. So that's pretty cool. Really, really useful. Another thing you might notice when you're looking through the kitchen is a lot of new panels. So I've got this guy here. It's the IPN remote. This goes to my Blue Sky solar controller, which is actually mounted behind the fridge over here along with my new inverter. Up here I've got 2 new panels. We've got the sea level. Now this thing, instead of just saying empty, 1/3, 2/3, or full, will tell me a lot more information. It'll give me the percentage. So LPG is my propane, 29%. Temperature 71 degrees. Pretty amazing to be in San Francisco in November. The black tank and the gray tank are not hooked up. I bought this thing before I realized what it took to install it. It's pretty much impossible to install properly on a Rialta, so wouldn't recommend it. But I'd use it for my see how much fresh water I have, battery, all that kind of stuff. Right above that is a control panel for the ProSign 2.0. I'm going to leave it off for now. That's a really awesome high-end inverter. I wouldn't have bought an inverter that fancy, except I got a really great deal on it, so I'm pretty psyched about that. It's 2,000 watts, pure sine wave, and it has built-in battery charger. So if I plug into shore power, just any outlet, I can also charge my battery with that. It's a really nice charger, which means next time I open up the compartment under my bed, I can take out the existing low-quality charger and throw it away, which means a little weight savings and more room under there. So another big upgrade I've been working on is my entertainment system, which is ridiculous, totally unnecessary, but it's one of those things where you start with one step, and then you go the next step, and you go the next. So the first thing I did was I got these new speakers. They're not anything fancy, just kicker 5 1/4 inch speakers. I got them on overstock.com. Then I thought, well, maybe I should get a new stereo, because I was using the GPS on my phone at the time, and that was pretty bad. So I got this guy, which is pretty cool. It flips up screen, and it has GPS right there. Let's see what else. I don't know how well you can see that. It's got, navigation, Sirius. That USB icon changes to an iPod when you have your iPod hooked up. I routed the wires down through here. So there's a little iPod cable. I can put my Nano in there and control it from the screen, which is pretty cool. So I had that, and then, I had Sirius, which I'm really happy with. I had my iPod, and I thought, music quality sucks. All I listen to is gangster rap. I can't hear the bass. So I decided to install a subwoofer. So here's the amplifier I got. It's an Alpine. It's just the smallest four-channel they make. I have it bridged into 3-channel mode. Let me turn this thing off now because it uses a lot of power, which really means I don't get to use it in the winter, because I get about a quarter of the solar in the winter that I do in the summer. And here's the subwoofer. It's a JL Audio 12-inch, and this is one of the upgrades I'm more proud of, because I had to take this entire thing apart. This is part of my bed, as you can see. It's not very well made bed. Anyway, there was a heater there that I don't use anymore now that I have that Olympian. So, opened it up, ripped out the heater, custom built this subwoofer box in the Home Depot parking lot, removed this whole top panel here, and then shoved it in there, and it barely fit. Had to run the wires behind the bathroom all the way up there. It was a huge pain, but man, it is awesome to have a subwoofer in here. I love it. So then I did that, and I thought, this would be really great for listening to movies, but who wants to watch movies on my little screen? So, over here, I have a screen. This is not the one to get. This is a ViewSonic 23-inch. I'm going to replace it with a Vizio 23-inch. What's really cool about it is I don't actually watch many movies or TV shows or anything like that, but what I do use it for a lot is as a second monitor. So as you can see, it slides out into any position I want. It's kind of hard to do holding the camera, but there's the general idea. I've got dual monitors. Got my laptop and then that monitor up there. It just connects with an HDMI cable. It's really easy to use. So what's cool about it, I'll back up here so you can see my little office area. You can use it as a second monitor there, or I can also raise it up and pull it out and make it kind of like a TV if I want to watch something from my bed. So mostly I use it as a second monitor, but I think that's a pretty cool little upgrade to do. And the reason you don't want this one, the reason you want a Vizio, is because this one cannot be run off DC. Now, none of them are supposed to run off 12-volt DC, but the Vizio, you can cut the power cord and you can use it on DC, which is really, really cool. So that's something I'm definitely planning on doing in the near future. I think that's really the bulk of the upgrades. There's one other little cool thing I thought I'd show you. One of the big problems about living in an RV is that it gets dirty really fast. So when I was in Japan, my friend had this Dyson vacuum that was really, really effective. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll see if there's one that I can get that would be RV sized. And so, bam, there it is. It's the Dyson DC31 Animal. And you want to get the Animal because it has this rotating tip at the end, like that. And this thing is amazing. It's just as good. I left my floor a little bit dirty, so maybe you could see. Anyway, I don't know if you can tell, but really, really effective. Picks up dirt super well. Before, this place was always kind of like, had like hair and like shag from this carpet like in the corners all the time, but now super clean, on the reg. Let's see, what else do I have? I think that's all the main upgrades that I can think of. I've rewired everything, but I'll explain that more in the post. And then actually there was one more thing. Let's go outside and see if we can see this. I don't know if you remember what the RV looked like before, but now it's really low profile, really streamlined. And that's because I took off the air conditioner and I lowered the solar panel and added another one. So now I have 460 watts of solar power. Then I also have this vent up here called the Max Air. And that's a pretty cool thing. If you look inside at it, it's a fan. It's got some buttons so you can program it with a thermostat, different settings, in sucking air in, pushing it out, different speeds. And then over here, I've got a remote control, and I can control it all from that too. So that's pretty cool. So it's really good to have that where you put on a thermostat so that when it's cold at night, it's not cooling things down, but then as soon as the morning comes, it'll cool you down before you wake up from the heat. So, I think that just about wraps up the tour. Not too much other stuff to do here on my wish list. I guess I would like to put in better curtains. The ones I have now, when you're outside, you can see that there's light on inside. And so if neighbors complain, then police come knocking, and then they know I'm inside. But if I had total blackout curtains on all sides, they could knock all they want. I could ignore them and pretend I'm not here, and they're not going to bust down the door to find out. The one other upgrade I would like to do is to put in a gas water heater. It has an electric one right now, which I cannot power off my inverter or off the solar power I generate. So it doesn't really make sense to have that. That's a huge project, so who knows when I'll get to that. Other than that, I'm pretty excited about all the things I've done. I'm pretty happy about living in this RV. To be honest with you, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. If you have an RV, I hope this has given you a couple ideas for things to do. If you have a Rialta and you want to do any of these projects, feel free to maybe leave a post on my forums, tynan.com/forums, and I'm always happy to answer. And there's some other Rialta people who have given really good info in the past. And if you're thinking about an RV, just take it from me, man. It's the life. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.